And we are live. What's good, y'all? It's your man DL Saint. What's good? Welcome to the Downrange Podcast, special edition. Yeah, I didn't have a I didn't have a thumbnail set up for this one. I just wanted to jump on. Let me make sure the audio is good because I really rushed my startup procedure. Hope y'all having a happy Wednesday hump day. I hope all is well out there. I'm just checking my audio. Audio is good. Oops. So here's the deal. Like I said, there was no thumbnail. I'm trying to get better at that. I want to have thumbnails for every show at least like 4 or 5 days before the show airs. That's what I want to do, like for these lives. But as you know, I'm always talking to my man Jswans. Shout out to him, and he's going to be joining here in a second. We were talking today. We're always talking about. Hell, we'll talk about everything. We're always talking about upcoming shows. We got a show coming up tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the Oath Keepers. What's going on with that? The leader of the Oath Keepers was convicted of sedition. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow, guys. Around this time tomorrow, make sure you're there to check that out. That thumbnail is already out. And that thumbnail is the Downrange Podcast. It says Jswans and I talk politics. We're going to be talking about what that means. Make sure y'all check in on that because that's going to have it could have some really serious implications for a lot of people in the Republican Party and moving forward as Americans, as it should. So we're going to be doing that tomorrow. Today, we were talking, and Jswans and I were talking about, I'm working on a show on feminism. It's probably going to be a 3-parter. I'm working on, what is feminism? I didn't know. You can talk to folks, you kind of figure it out, but I didn't know the history. I didn't know where it stemmed from. I didn't know. I understood suffrage, but I didn't understand the abolitionist part and all that. There's a lot going on. So it's probably going to be a 3-parter. We were talking about that. Me and Jswans got on. We were talking about this stuff, and it led to the conversation that we were having. And speak of the devil, here he is right here. What's good, bro? How you feeling, man?
Chilling. Actually, I'm up here sending a text out right now because I was just talking to Nate, and she was saying that let people know.
That is what it is. This is the fun of YouTube. You get surprise shows. We got Sister Candace in the house. You surprised me with this one, Brother DL, or my notifications are tripping. How are you? I did surprise you. This is last second. We just 10 minutes ago decided we're gonna jump on to do this. So that's for thank you. And Jswans is out there hitting his people up, man. So good job, bro. That's for you, bro. Good job.
Man, you're killing me. Killing me. I was getting ready to get my sparkling water because brother like me don't drink flat. You feel me?
Oh Lord.
Don't drink no
flat.
Oh
Lord. And we got Sister Nay in the house. What's good, sis? Good to see you. What's good, little sis? How you feeling? And she's like, "Hey, big bro. Hey, baby, love you." Of course, that's for her husband, not me, guys. Don't trip. But yeah, we're gonna talk about this. So we were talking about feminism. Jswans was asking me how I was doing on the research or what exactly I was doing. I was telling him first wave, second wave, third wave, and I was talking about third wave, and he was like pushing back hard. Like, okay, he was calling bullshit. I say push back. He says bullshit.
No. What I was saying was, you on some stuff that's. You found the extremes. You found the extreme type of female. I don't know any women that would walk around saying that we're smarter than men. Period.
Well, hold on, don't get into it too much. Just let y'all know he called bullshit. And I was like, well, it's just I'm still researching. I'm still looking. This is what I'm finding.
Thank you.
I agreed. It's fringe, and Sister Nail, I got you, baby. Water coming right up. Stand by.
Like I said, I don't drink flat.
You know what I mean? That's perfect. Totally. Got the perfect wife. The perfect. That's how couples should work. That's how marriage should look, y'all. For real. He didn't even have to ask. She's like, "Don't worry, I got you, babe." That's so cool, man.
I did ask. That's what that was.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to reach for the fridge back here, but I didn't want to be rude, So
But yeah, my bad. I know. And people are like, man, when y'all talk, y'all have some good points, but then y'all be all over the place. That's how we talk. All right, get used to it. We are all over the place. That's how we get down.
Really?
But so we're not going to get into the feminism thing again. That's going to be a 3-parter. Probably going to start next week with first wave feminism and with the research that I found, and we're going to talk about it. Found some cool videos. There's a lot of print stuff that I found. There's some really good information, stuff that I think everybody should know this. But anyway, whatever. But we wound up talking about rights. And one of the things I did say to Jswans, I was like, well, look, bro, feminism, the mission was accomplished. And in fact, today, women have more rights and privileges than men do. And that's where we got into this back and forth. You know what I mean? It was, like I said, y'all know we brothers, but once I said that.
Yes, sir.
Here's the friend.
Like that, but it definitely was, I'm like.
No, it was like that because you was like, hold on, bro. Whenever you say hold on, bro, that's it. You popping smoke right there.
You can't be, you got to take feelings out of it. And I think that's the problem. A lot of cats.
A lot of cats do have feelings, but I didn't necessarily have feelings in this. But it brought up a good point. So we landed on family court. We landed on that, and they're like, yeah, let's go live right now and talk about it. So, bro, family court.
Yeah.
Right. My position stands that women have more rights and privileges than men. And I point to family court, and I point to the fact that a woman could have a child, bring a child to term, which I agree with. Her body, her choice. I agree with that 100%. No deviation. Her body, her choice. However, she can have a child, have the baby for a few months and decide this is not for me, give the child up for adoption or whatever, and she has no financial responsibility at all from that point moving forward forever. Men can't do that.
Yeah, we agreed on that. Yeah. And I don't know how to fix that. Like I don't have a, I guess we need to teach our young men better. Maybe make getting that vasectomy, part of growing up. I don't know how to fix that.
Or I know how to fix it. Men get the same rights and privileges as women after birth. Like, there's nothing you can do about a woman who decides to exercise the option and not carry that child to term. There's nothing you can do about that. If you're a man and you want a child and you're with a woman who doesn't want a child, there's nothing you can do about that. However, if the baby gets here, right, then that man should have the same rights and privileges with respect to parentage as the mom. And then we got into like the court system itself, and we were trying to determine what's the court's position. Now, we're not attorneys, guys. We're not attorneys.
What's the law? They're trying to figure out, because you were saying that you're like men don't get 50-50 from the rip, and I was saying, well, they should. And
I agree, they should. They absolutely should.
And how do we know that they don't start at 50-50, and then the judge starts messing with the numbers from there? In a situation where I can't breastfeed. I can't breastfeed. I got to do this. I got to do that. Or I have to breastfeed. I got to see the child every 2 hours. I mean, what's the court going to? The court is going to be like, I guess that's best for the child. Then she can't do the pump thing or whatever it is, and so I guess we just got to do. Like I don't know. But as far as like the man having been able to give up his rights, I agree. I think that it should be just like, men should be able to do it just like women do. You know what I mean? Like, you got up to so many weeks to give up your rights before the baby gets here. Because once the baby gets here, it's here.
Well, but no, it should mirror what women have, because women have time after the baby gets here to make up her mind. And she can say, you know what, I don't want to be a mom.
Okay.
And she can give the child up. You take the child to the fire department or the police department or whatever. Like, I can't handle this. I don't want it. And that's it. You walk away. There is no financial responsibility or anything from that point on.
Yeah, but that law was designed, as far as taking them to the fire department, that was designed to keep babies from ending up in the dumpster. I mean, so
and the law still should stay on the books. But all I'm saying is, if women have that right and privilege, that's fine. It doesn't affect the woman. But it should also extend to the man. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, that smarter people than me have got to figure that out.
Well, they're not here, just us, so we got to figure it out.
Yeah,
we got an hour to figure it out.
I mean,
we got an hour to solve the problem.
I mean, because I'm sitting there like, I think a man should have, the ability to walk away, before the baby's born, and
all I'm saying is extend that to the same, however long it is, 6 months or a year, whatever.
I'm mad after the baby's born. I'm mad now. I don't want to be here. Goodbye. Nah, I don't think that. You know, but
Again,
I don't know. I don't know. It's because I I see a lot of guys doing that. Baby's here. You know what? I'm mad now. I don't want a baby no more. I quit. No. Now before the baby gets here, yeah, I think you should have every right. I mean, hey, just like the woman does. I don't want the kid. Here, I'm signing over everything right now. I don't want nothing to do with you or the kid. All right.
Should that man still be responsible financially?
No, not once he signs that over. No.
All right. Because that's how it works today. And so you looked into it. Like you delved in there.
I'm still looking into it. Like as far as the laws, because I would think that it starts at 50-50 and then the judge modifies it from there based on whatever their opinion is or how they're feeling or whatever. And I think a lot of times the judge probably is like, here they go again. I have to have the baby because of this and I have to have the baby because of that. You know what? Screw it. Mom, you got the kid, you're breastfeeding, blah, blah, blah. You got the kid, dad, you got this much time and you guys sort it out in a year when you come back or however that works.
Because I've heard of cases where the judge comes in and because it's not a 50-50 default. Someone was saying, and I was on Suzette Speaks show last night, someone was saying that in Kentucky, I think they have new laws, some modifications to their laws to where it is 50-50. If you come to family court, it's 50-50. That's it. It starts at 50-50
in
Kentucky now, but in the rest of the states, that's not necessarily.
And that's
the
what
case.
I'm confused. Where does it start at in those other states? Like the woman starts at 100%, and then it goes back from there.
It's up to the judge. They establish who is the custodial parent, which is more often than not the mom, and they do visitation. All right, well, you can come see the baby every other Saturday. Or every other Friday to Sunday, and then every Wednesday or something like that from these hours to that hour. And then based on those hours, you get a percentage. So that's going to be like 30%. Yeah. Mom has 70% or whatever it boils down to. And that is it. There it is right there. The other parent never got the opportunity to be an equal share, equal partner.
And that's what I'm wondering about. See, this is where, the law of lenient attorneys and all this other crap, because I'm willing to bet that it starts out at 50-50 and the judge adjusts it based on whatever the judge's criteria is, whatever they feel is going on, because judges have way too much power for me. And they adjust from there, and whatever argument is being made. Like you said, I need to be, I need to be in a baby's life and blah, blah, blah. Like we talked about pro athletes, right? And the pro athlete, like the baby mama, is almost probably 99% of the time going to get custody of the kid. And you were like, well, what if the pro athlete can afford the best child care known to man? I'm like, the best child care is not going to be better than a parent on paper. Okay. On paper.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you're not going to win that argument on paper. Okay. Now the mom could be out in the streets and whatever else, blah, blah, blah. They ain't looking at that. They're looking at the child's with a parent versus.
So let's modify that example. Mom's a brain surgeon, top brain surgeon in the world. Dad is, CEO. He's CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
Okay, yeah.
Mom and dad are both powerful people.
Okay.
Are they going to be home?
Probably not.
And if they are home, they're going to have some help, right? So
they're
going to have an au pair.
You know what? Actually, I bet you they argue that they would be at home. I bet you they argue that they would be home because they have that kind of leeway in those career fields. I bet you they argue they would be at home.
Right, but you see my point. In like on paper, you're gonna have the argument, but in real life, yeah, they're in the house, but they're gonna have maids and they're gonna have au pairs and they're gonna have nurses. They're gonna have all that. So they're still buying the best care.
But
and it's like they're not
taking that. The court's not taking that into account. The court knows that a pro athlete is going to be gone X amount of times a year. I mean, that's that they're gonna have those numbers. Like I'm not even an attorney. And I know that, let's say that the baby daddy is a pro athlete. I know that he's going to be gone, 3 days, at least 3 or 4 days a week for the next 6 months or whatever. So there's no way he's going to be able, that's like comparing apples to apples to oranges. You can't now.
Yeah, but you get my point.
But they're not going to go into that. You're asking a judge who's going to see what 50 cases that day. to go that deep
no.
into this initial child custody case. Nah.
And that particular case wouldn't even get before a judge because they have so much money that'll be worked out between the two firms.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like the attorneys are to hash that all out. But again, it doesn't come away from the fact that the law should state 50-50.
And that's what I'm trying to find, because I feel like, because there has to be a starting point somewhere. There has to be a starting point. And I don't know where that starting point is. I feel like that starting point starts at 50-50. Like the judge walks in like, all right, let's say it's going to be 50-50 so we can get up out of here. And then the argument starts, oh, well, he's in, like, and mind you, it's going to be most cases like this. Oh, he's in a gang, or he's involved in this, or he's involved in that. And I'm the only one that can take care of this baby because I'm the mother and it has to have breast milk. And the judge has a pad and a paper and starts checking off, off boxes.
But then the other side comes up and like, well, no, she's a stripper. She's, you know what I mean? She's also a call girl. She does happy ending massages. Yes. They're going to try to paint each other as these evil people.
Horrible people.
Horrible people. I have a stable job. I have a career. You know what I mean? I have my mom that lives in the house with me, so we have extra support. And then, like you said, it starts moving again.
Exactly. So then what do you do? Okay, well, what proof do you have? Let me see it. Let me see some tax documents. Let me see this. I ain't got them. Okay, well, whatever you see. Well, I don't have anything right now. The judge is sitting there going, oh, Jesus. All right, here we go. You get, Mom, you're going to get 70%. Dad, you're going to get 1 day a week and every other weekend. Come back in 6 months or whatever, and we'll revisit it again.
Right.
Hey,
and that's the problem.
Girls, here you go, boys and girls. If you go to court, take an attorney with you.
Oh, absolutely. That should go without saying. Take an attorney with you. But the thing is this. I believe that we should take that away from the judge. It should be 50-50. So when you go to get that attorney before you go to court, the attorney's going to tell you it's 50-50, bro. So all we got to talk about is how y'all going to break this up. You're going to do 2-3-2, week on, week off, whatever that may be.
Come on. You know that's not how attorneys work. The attorney's going to say, okay, the law says it's 50-50, but we need to come up with this. We need to manipulate this.
If you change it to where the judge cannot modify that unless one parent or the other opts out, it should be 50-50. So all that other stuff doesn't matter. Dad's going to get the child half the time. Mom's going to get the child half the time.
It's going to be until one of the parents does something they're not supposed to do. It can't be.
But you're missing my point. The law right now, the law doesn't state that. We can't find it, or we'll need an attorney or somebody to come on here and tell you. It doesn't state that. Like we just said, you walk into the court and then the judge right away starts doing this, that, and the third. Yeah. It doesn't state it's 50. The law, it should be no. You guys had a child. You guys get equal access to that child. Y'all go out there and figure out what this a bit. Well, I'm breastfeeding this and that. Yeah, you breastfeeding, but the child's in daycare. So if the child, you know what I mean?
Well, I was gonna say, anytime you can get the court to say, "Hey, this is what it is," that's when people will start working it out. As long as there's loopholes in the system, they're gonna find every loophole to get it.
And when we be doing away with the loophole, you know what I mean? If you mandated that the judge can't do, it's 50-50. Well, one of y'all got to opt out.
The loopholes are where the money's made, bro.
Well, okay, that's going to brings us to the next point. Let me catch up with the chat. Yeah. So we got brother JT in the house. What's good, man? What up, though, bro? I see you, sister Candace. And sister Candace, if you're free, I would love to have your opinion on you. I would love to have you pop up and engage in this conversation with us.
Hey, mind you, now isn't this just what I said earlier when we was on the phone? Most women are going to have a problem with it. Most women will find it to be wrong.
We're going to get to that point. Most women, because you said most women, and yeah. Let me catch up with it. Hold that thought. Put a pin in that thought and hold that for 1 second.
How about that?
Come on, bro. Quit, man. Quit acting up. Sister Candace, even in the cases of breastfeeding mothers, I find it unfair to postpone custody to the father. Breastfeeding is a choice, not a right. Ooh, I wouldn't want to get into that because, I mean, it is a choice, but I'm not a woman. But, I mean, doctors would argue that is the most healthy option for a child.
And it's supposed to be what's best for the child. So
But even still, like that will be one of those, okay, mama's breastfeeding, fine. So this is what we're going to do. There will still be some modifications in there. Like, well, we're not going to take away dad's time, but you're not breastfeeding for 18 years. But you're not breastfeeding for 18 years. Although women be like, I'm breastfeeding and the kid is 10. You know what I mean? Like no. I mean, that's when it comes in. Like, no, you're gonna be able to breastfeed through these years.
We're on the same page with hey, look, Infamil. My kids raised on Infamil, they fine.
Hey, bro, big better than fine. And Sister Candace continues, a baby's time away from the father at birth could also be detrimental to their ability to bond with their newborn.
That's correct.
Right? And like you said, most women, I don't know. Sister Candace, she chose them, exclamation point. We can't use this employment, living conditions, gang affiliations against him in court. They're gonna try.
And see, all the stuff she's saying goes back to what I was saying earlier.
Yep.
Most women feel like this.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
And then she continues, assuming, of course, the pregnancy was not related to grape, which is, like it wasn't forced, or it wasn't, we can't use the R word because YouTube doesn't like it. But so long as we say grape. But absolutely,
well, you
brother.
Give me a list of words that I can and cannot say.
That's the one you can't say. There's a couple more. We're not big enough to. I'll let you know. I'll keep you.
Merch.
I'll keep you square. Yeah, merch. You can say that all day long. Cody is King is in the house. What's good, brother Cody? Morning to you, bro. We just did a pop-up show. But yeah, Sister Candace is right. I like her points. Her final point. A woman can express her breast milk. So for me, that's a moot point. Does the father have a say in what the mother is eating during gestation? She got to get a point there too. Like, well, it's most healthy, but if she's out here smoking and drinking and then she's feeding that to the child, you got a point there. Like if the mom is doing smoking weed and
saying that though, you know what I mean? Like
So,
but like
let's
my
talk
point
about
is this. Like we said, most women feel the same way because your argument was, well, I think that a lot of women are, it's a safety net or whatever. I'm like, no, most women feel the same way.
Let me state the point. And I agree with you. I can get behind that most women feel that way. Okay. However, it is a safety net because the question is, well, how come more women and men don't come up? If you're a woman and you truly believe in feminism, you believe in equality, you believe in human rights. Isn't it a human right that you have access to your child? Of course, we can all agree to that. So, but my point is this, they understand that there's a disparity in the law, but that disparity, helps them if they found themselves in a situation. Okay. So why would you do away with that?
And like I said, it doesn't affect enough people to that level that it's financially makes sense for anybody to really get involved with it. Like you said, there's groups, but it comes down to money. You know what I mean? Like it's not affecting enough people. You know what I mean? It's not to that level. That's why. Like I said, I just talked to Naya about it. She was like, oh no, that's wrong. No. You know what I mean? Most women feel that behavior is wrong, but it does not affect as many people as you think. Now, there's a fringe that it goes crazy for. I'm sure there's a group of people, there's a dynamic that they deal with that shit every day. But it's not enough to draw that much national attention to where women are going to stand up and stomp their feet and be like, no, this is all wrong. Now they talk to their girlfriends, they'll be like, nah, girl, that's wrong. You know what I mean? No,
it's wrong, but it's like, dude, it's wrong, but like, do we want to change it? Because if I find myself in a situation right now, I go to court, I'm going to get the majority of custody.
I'm willing to bet, once again, most women have never thought that to themselves. If I find myself in a situation, I need this safety net, so I'm just going to let this go. I'm going to let this ride now. Because the chances of going to court for that are less than their chances of some male in their family having that issue. Some man in their family having that issue. So, I mean, no, they're not going to. No, most women are thinking like Candace and Janae. You know what I mean?
All right. So, and that's another thing too. So Americans from sea to sea understand that this is a problem. Like they maybe they don't want to do anything about it, but you bring this up, everyone knows like, yeah, you know what? That is a problem. That's not right. It's a simple fix. It's a Kentucky did it. It's a simple fix. You go to family court. It's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 default. As far as to implement the fix is simple. It's not hard at all. It's an amendment, state amendment. It can even be a federal amendment.
In order to get something done, you got to have some money behind it. If Elon Musk was to tweet out there that, if Elon Musk was to start going through some craziness where his baby mama gets, let's say he's worth $5 billion and she says, I'm getting $4 billion of your money. That's when you'll start seeing that kind of change. Because he'll start going crazy with it. He'll start pushing it like crazy. And he's got enough money to get attention. He's got enough money to buy himself a politician to be like, hey, I need you to go up there and say this. and he'll do that.
I don't know, man. We definitely we definitely need a female point of view on this because
But we're agreeing with the women.
We're agreeing with the women, but I mean, like well, most of those women and men then agree that, you know what, the law should reflect that, yeah, both parents should get 50-50. Because like legal custody, they do. Legal custody, they get it right off rip. Legal custody, you go into family court, legal custody is 50-50 off rip almost 100% of the time. You know what I mean? And again, y'all, I'm making up numbers.
Easy. Because that's easy. Okay? Everybody's got to say, you know what I mean? Now, where's the kid going to live? Now, is it in the child's best interest to you live here for a week and the next week you go over here? Is that in the child's best interest?
And that's what you found.
I don't know. I'm not a child psychologist. I know that if you got two couples, like you said, the CEO and the brain surgeon, they got enough money to buy, some kind of compound where they never see each other, then I'm sure they can do that. All right. But for regular people who work and have, like mom lives on this side of town, dad lives on that side of town, I don't know if that's viable. I just don't know. I don't know how you make that decision. And what does the judge look at when he's doing that? Like, judge is like, damn, I gotta put the kids somewhere.
And that's what it is, because you looked it up, and I'm looking it up right now, and it came up, of course, for Florida. But the best interest of the child shall be the primary consideration when you're talking about physical custody. So the best interest of the child, again, what does that mean? Now we're into all this greatness.
For me, I think that, a little boy, 2 years old and up needs to start being with his dad, and learning how to be a man. Because I've said this many times, it takes a man to raise a man. All right. A woman can raise a male, but she can't raise a man because she doesn't know what it is to be a man. And vice versa. It takes a woman to raise a daughter, because there's stuff that, we can raise girls, but there's little nuances that we don't know about women, blah, blah, blah. Now, that being said, all men are not created equal. Okay. And all women are not created equal. So, I mean, there's a whole lot that a judge has got to base his decisions on. And I think it gets to a point where judges are like, here we go. This is this, this is this, this is this. And move on. Kylo.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's a great back and forth in the chat going about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, go back to that.
Nutrition.
I was trying to read it, but I looked away.
About nutrition. So, like, Brother Cody was saying talking about nutrition, and talking to Sister Candace, and Sister Candace was responding. He can certainly have an opinion about her eating habits, but can he enforce them and ensure they are being followed the way a court would enforce child support, visitation, etc.?
No, he cannot.
Yeah, man.
Look, I'll tell you right now, a pregnant woman is going to eat whatever she wants to eat. And you can tell her everything you want to tell her. Quietly, look, a woman is going to do whatever she wants to do. And you can tell her to do whatever you want, and she'll nod and smile and still do whatever she wants to do, because welcome to reality.
Yeah, I want peanut butter and shrimp. Like, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but there is a growing contingent of people who believe that you don't even need a mother and a father to raise a child, or you don't even need a village anymore.
Sure there is. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is this growing contingent that, you don't need either one. Yeah, you do. All right. That's why we got kids all screwed up today, because we got babies raising babies. And these kids have never been told no, or they've never been, they don't understand competition or what life is. I watched a video today. I should send this to you, man, about a guy that said, now we have to tell our young men that they have to be better than other people in order to succeed in life. And mind you, it wasn't a black man saying that, because I know I've been told my whole life, and my sons have been told their whole life that they got to be 10 times better than the next man in order to be successful. And but that's kind of the society we live in. The same people that haven't been telling their kids that, they got to be better than everybody else to succeed, has also been telling their kids that, you're great, everybody gets a trophy, life is fair, all that neat stuff. And it's not fair.
So, and I want to show something.
Merch.
I'm gonna pull it up. We don't have that. We don't have that merch yet.
Get that put on a T-shirt. I want to show something.
Yeah, that's Paul. Yeah, it could be merch on one side and pause on the other. Like, you're talking to the dude like, I want to show something.
Yo,
pause, bro.
Merch on the front with an arrow pointing down, and then pause on the back.
You are no longer in charge of the merchandising for this platform.
Yo, that was sell. I'm telling you, Cody buy one.
Oh my God. Oh my. That's all I got to say about that. So, and I'm gonna show something that this is from Just Pearly Things. This is from Just Pearly Things and podcast. Like she's really coming up in the red pill space. She's the one in the red. She's the one on the right of your screen in the red. Hey man, she catches. Yeah. Hey bro, she knows it. Like I said, she knows it. But we're gonna watch a little bit of this. It's about 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
You hardcore, bro. That's all I gotta say about that. So, but this is one of the women that was on the pod was saying, like the title of this particular clip is "Modern Women Don't Want Fathers at Home," and they were talking about. So the brother on the left, he is a dad, and this takes place in London. So these people are English, obviously, except Pearl. She's from America. Everyone else, I believe, is from the UK. So I want you to hear this, bro, because
before you did. So the title is "Modern Women Don't Want Fathers at Home."
Yes.
I have trouble finding these women. So, but all right.
Oh, here they are right here. Here's some of them. Again, a fringe. These women do not represent the majority of women. However,
these girls don't represent
these young women. They're girls. They're young.
Because I'm looking at them now like, oh, okay.
But I also want to point out that we're separated from them by an ocean. This culture we're both first world, but this culture is way different than our culture, and you're going to hear a lot of similarities. What they're saying, what these young girls, these young women are saying, you're hearing over here in America as well. Again,
it's not different. Isn't this considered the Western world? Isn't that what y'all talk about, the Western world?
Yo, bro, they don't have guns over there. We don't be, we don't speak the kings over here. Like, there's still two different cultures, two very distinctly different cultures. Yeah, we're both first world, but they're different cultures. And I just wanted to point that out because people watch Fresh and Fit or what the Manosphere over here and like, oh, that's just LA, that's just Miami, that's just New York. Like, bro, this is London. And it's a lot of people who be on her podcast from all over Europe, right? And she gets most of these people off the street. She literally goes out and she has signs and she's talking to people on the street and she gets them to come back to the studio at some point and actually film. But let's get into it. Let's listen to what they have to say. And tell me when to stop if there are points where you want to stop. And after this, I'm gonna show these chats, y'all, but I'm not gonna be able to read them because we only have another 28 minutes or so and we gotta go. What we know.
They Googled the hell out of something right there.
That's brother JT. This is his thing, man. He's in Detroit. What we know podcast. JT's in the house. What's good, fam? Among infants born in 2019, most 83.2% started out receiving some breast milk, and 78.6% were receiving any were receiving any breast milk at 1 month. I think he meant were not. At 6 months, 55.8% of infants receive any breast milk. So I'm thinking, as time went on, they got less and less breast milk.
I can tell you this. I can tell you this. At less than 30 days, my youngest one was getting Enfamil with cereal mixed in, because he wasn't sleeping through the night yet.
One sleeping through. Most people, that's funny. I get it. Most people want to start off on breast milk. It is the healthiest option, but I mean, it's a lot of work too. And something you got to pump. Sometimes you can't pump. I mean, there are issues that goes on with that. It is what it is.
We're going down a rabbit hole though. We don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that. Yeah, I'm leave that. I just wanted to read JT's spot. But let's check this out. Again, we can stop where you want to stop. But here we go. This is Just Pearly Things. All right. Like and share and subscribe on her channel. She's doing good work over
there. I'll give it to her.
But we tend to exaggerate.
In the station and then going back to your boyfriend and letting him eat you out. Yeah, that's witch type behavior.
The issue is we exaggerate those sides of ourselves, and we're pushed to. And I'm not making an excuse for it at all because I agree it's not great behavior. Right. But it's because we've been pushed to align ourselves with one side, either hypersexual or hyperpure, and it's because it's been constantly separated over time that we have to align ourselves with one. And I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying that's good at all, but it happens, and I think it takes a certain level of consciousness to be able to step out of that, which not a lot of people have access to.
So to me, I just think girls like attention.
Yep.
And so but I'm saying I think girls especially, like, we live off of attention. That's why so many girls are addicted to social media, where men are addicted to video games.
Would you say emotions?
So what I would say is, like, girls that tend to be more sexual got the attention from guys and they liked it and they kept doing it, and that was like the positive feedback loop. But they didn't realize there was consequences later. And the girls that didn't do that saw that there was saw that they had the negative consequences and therefore got the positive feedback loop, maybe had a dad to tell them not to do it.
Completely, but exactly, you're linking it back to the father. If a father figure isn't present to build that strong relationship with masculine energy, a woman is going to seek out that attention.
That's true.
From
That's
masculine
true.
energy.
So right off the rip, they're talking about. I want y'all to pay close attention because what she's saying right now. Fathers are important, right? I just want to put that in there. So would you agree fathers are important in the development of a child?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you know my stance on that. So yeah, I put that out there already. It takes a man to raise a man, definitely.
But yeah, you just said a few minutes ago, Brother Doug's in the house. What's good, fam? 75% single parent families, and they are a fringe. Like you jumped in on a point. You have to go back and check out what the rest of the stuff we were talking about.
Yeah.
No, you gotta rewind that and check out what we were talking about. But let's continue. Let's continue with this because they're gonna get into some stuff here that we definitely want to talk about.
Because they're not talking about nothing right now. I'm like,
you got to build up. Like I said, there's 8 minutes, and I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't have time to do my homework, so I didn't know the exact timestamp. So we're just gonna watch this, and then here we go.
Right.
Daddy. Yeah.
Exactly.
We don't need the father anymore, do we?
Huh?
But that's why
Remember, we don't need the father
that's why
anymore,
the
do we?
father's so important in the home.
Remember?
Right? Yeah.
No, and I think I don't think it's necessarily a father. I think it's a healthy masculine representation. Probably shouldn't necessarily be restricted to a
Would you say in general
nuclear family dynamic. There are a lot of ways that people can get those role models.
Would you say in general it's through a father, like a man?
Yeah.
In
No,
general.
I would agree.
So
I would agree.
So in the if we go back and forth about exceptions, we'll be talking in circles all day.
But then the father has to step up as well as the mother.
But I think men in general, like men have issues too. I'm not negating that men have issues, but like I just think there's a large group of men that have no purpose because they don't have women, because modern women are side chicks.
Yeah.
Because modern women keep sleeping up and up and up, because you know damn well that you could sleep with a guy that would never be seen in public with you ever. Exactly. So damn. Okay. So they're getting into it. So this the young girl with the red hair was saying, okay, she started out by saying like, yeah, men are needed. And then she was like, well, you don't necessarily need a father, not the biological. You don't need a nuclear family. So she's starting to backtrack a little bit. And then Pearl's trying to keep her on message. Like, no, hold on. You know what I mean? She's like, well, you don't necessarily need that man. You just need a man. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm sitting there thinking like, how can I put this? It takes a village. Okay.
Agreed.
And yes, the father should be the primary. That's where it starts at. I believe in raising children. I believe there's a father, like let's take a young man, right? You should have a father around. Now, like I said before, there's different levels of men. Okay. And if the dude is, working hard and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing and, the usual stuff, and the mom or the woman involved is like, well, he ain't shit because he ain't doing this, that sort of thing. She's creating a problem there. All right. It's not the dad that's the problem. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's trying to raise his son. He ain't got enough money, whatever. He's doing what he can. Now, if he's the kind of guy that's like, he ain't shit, I don't know, he's out in the streets being wild and this and that, he's not a good example. I mean, growing up, I had my father, I had my uncle, I had, my friends' dads, I had coaches, there was lots of people involved in the development of me growing up, that sort of thing. So yeah, and are there other options out there for young men? Yes, there are. But I think that the first option should be the dad.
All right. So, and we'll continue. Sister Candace, it makes sense to me because I've heard this argument before. I hope it makes sense to everyone else. Sister Candace is like, when do fathers become optional in our society is truly a sad commentary.
I don't think they're not optional. I mean, you're talking to a little girl that, she put it this way, this young woman that's talking now, she's not raised a young man. So she's talking off of hypotheticals that she read somewhere or heard somewhere.
But there are young women that have been talking this talk going back to the 70s and 80s, bro. And there's video on that as well.
No, there's no young women going back to the 70s, 80s talking that, because them young women have grown up like, oh, damn.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the video. It was like I don't need no man. I think ABC did an expose on this very same thing because they were talking about welfare families, and I had all these single, the epidemic of single black women. So I'm gonna send that to you, bro. But this conversation has been going on a long time.
Oh yeah, the conversation,
and we're starting to see it. You know what I mean? Like it's starting to become huge. But let's continue with the video. And yes, and thank you, Sister Candace. Fair use. Pearl's real cool with sharing her content, and I'll jump on her live and I'll show her some tribute later on this week. But thank you, fair use.
Yeah, and that's not fun, but it's just true. Like guys will have sex with a hole in the wall, right? Yeah,
guys will have sex with a hole in the wall, and you ladies know that you can be looking your worst. You can walk out the house looking average and still garner attention from men.
Yeah,
men will still give you attention. We don't.
And so the thing is with birth control and the sexual revolution, it's a smaller percentage of men that are having all the sex. So that means a larger percentage of men are sleeping with nobody. That's what I'm saying. It starts with the women, because if women aren't creating families, like then that's
women set the precedent.
No,
that's the reality. Women set the precedent.
And I think it was Rwanda or something.
So when they talk about this sort of thing, bro, it gets into splitting hairs. Is this person's fault? Is that person's fault? Women start the family. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I understand the concept. I don't know if I necessarily agree with it. We're not done with the video, y'all. We're going to talk a little bit. I want to hear your concept on this. Pearl was just telling the ladies there. She's like, well, it starts with the women. You women are choosing these guys. You're getting ran through. You're having their kids. You know these guys don't want you. You're just a side chick. You're having a kid, right? And it's like there's no man involved because you can't, basically you can't get the man you want. You had this child. You raised this child on your own. And so Pearl is trying to say that if women would choose better, that there would be more families. That's what I take from it. What do you take from it?
I agree with that. I mean, I think that's a valid point. Once again, you have a group of women that, let's take pro athletes as an example. They go out and get pregnant by a guy that they know is a womanizer. Sean Kemp, you know what I'm saying? We got like 30 kids. They go out and get pregnant by Sean Kemp, knowing he ain't going to be around. So why would you do that? There's financial reasons why, or whatever. I don't know, but why would you do that? That makes no sense. And then you got young men growing up. You got kids growing up with no dad, and you're mad because he ain't around. Well, you saw what he was when you got him. So yeah, I agree with that.
All right, pretty hardcore.
Choices. Yeah, make better choices. I don't know how that to me makes sense.
All right,
if you want a family, find a guy that's looking for a family.
All right,
don't find a guy. As far as women wanting attention, I've always said this: if you ain't paying your lady attention, somebody else is. That sort of thing. So, and
like I said, this is an 8-minute and 34-second video, complete time. But I did watch this whole thing earlier. There is a part in it I really want to see. I'm just waiting to get to the good part. They're going to be talking about, who, is it important to have men and women raise a child together, nuclear family. So let's continue.
And it was who got the women, and it would be the chief or whatever they were called, and then they would have multiple wives. You've seen that all across the world, right? That's never changed. And they did a study and they found that the first wife had the children with the man, and they were like the best. They were like queen on top children, and then the other wives who had babies with a powerful man, even if they didn't have 100% exclusivity, those children were better off than if a woman had a baby and with a monogamous man who wasn't. So that's not just in today's society. That's literally
you're correct. You're absolutely correct. You could make an argument for polygamy, but the difference was back then the women got resources with it. So it wasn't like nowadays you're just giving sex for free.
Yeah, exactly.
It's back then you might not have been first wife, but you could have been third or fourth. Like in Muslim cultures, we had a guy in here that talked about how he had to marry each and every wife of his, and he had to provide it. They were taken care of financially forever. And so I don't prefer the polygamous stuff, but if someone wants to do it, you can make an argument for it.
Yeah.
But the problem is women are taking sex without the resources. And so therefore they're incentivized to get a kid off of a rich guy.
Women don't understand that you set the standard.
Yeah.
Okay, for men to have sex. Okay, and because men generally, as much as men even know, we're quite simple creatures. Yeah. If the pussy's there, we'll go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have to understand that if you're giving it away for free, literally, I can download the app right now. Right? And in an hour, I can have sex. Like sex is so readily available from women, that men no longer have to work for it. If men had to work for sex, we wouldn't have half of the problems that we're having.
Now that part right there, bro, there's some truth in what he's talking about right there. They don't have to work for it. Technology has made it easy for the top tier guys to even get that kind of access.
Wait, hold on. Now we talked about this before now. Because I keep hearing about like we on these shows and stuff talking about all these guys, all these women are hoes and with 304s and all that kind of stuff, and and these 80 bottom guys or whatever, they can't get none. But I'm like, but they're giving it away for free.
Yeah, to the guys that they want, which tend to be the top tier dudes. Now, and technology made it even easier.
If you're gonna give it away to get what you want.
But then that's the problem; they're not getting anything for it, and that's the point. The pearl was that was the point. They're getting sex from the guy that they want. They're not getting. So when the baby gets here,
and they get this money from that top tier guy.
And then it goes back to they're getting the money, but they don't get the access. And it goes back to, either the guy has to fight to get 50% custody to even be able to see his child, or he's just paying because he doesn't want to be involved anyway, and that child still doesn't have a father.
So the top tier guy don't realize, like, man, I'm fucked. You don't realize that?
But if he has the bread, he don't care. Like, man, whatever.
Okay.
Still doing my thing. But again, it goes back to
the problem.
That's
a problem right there.
But again, it goes back to the fact that, like they were saying, listen, you go after this guy, you know what you get. And Pearl was like, back in the day, they would get all sorts of resources. Now it's kind of monetary. And that's if the woman even files for child support. Sometimes, very few times, they don't even do that. You know what I mean? They just go around mad because they couldn't get the guy. I think somebody sent me a video, some young man who was so upset with his mother because he don't have a relationship with his father, and the mom was lying to him his whole life, saying your father don't want anything to do with it. Come to find out, his dad has spent the past 15, 20 years trying to find his son because he wanted to have his relationship. So you got all these things that are kind of, again, we've come away from the nuclear family.
I would go back into like dude said, like women control it. I mean, really. Guys are stupid. We're gonna go wherever our nose leads us, and but women do control it, and they set the standard. Which men help with that standard as well. If you're giving a chicken head attention, she gonna keep being a chicken head.
She's gonna keep being a chicken head. And I wish I knew exactly where the part was. We got to keep powering through this because they're gonna get to a part where these women were saying we don't need men to raise kids.
Hey, right there, what Candace says is perfect.
Sister Candace, we have to hold women accountable for their actions. If a woman allows a man to enter her body unprotected, then she must be ready to accept the potential consequences of her actions.
And I believe that goes both ways. That goes for men and women. And just know, like you said the red pill thing is all about being awake. Hey, we'll wake up and know that if you go in there raw and you make a baby, she owns you. For the next, and forget that 18 years, she owns you for that kid's life. She owns you.
And my thing is this: that's fine, but legally, that father should have 50. He should have the same rights and privileges as that woman with respect to parentage. You know what I mean?
Legally, but you know what?
Yes, but we're not there yet.
It's not going to happen.
It's gonna. I think it will happen. We're just not there yet.
I told my kids. I told both my sons. Right, we had that talk, and I'm like, you get a girl pregnant. I said, you will drop out of high school, you will work your ass in McDonald's, and you will give her 3/4 of your paycheck until you turn 18, and then you will go in the military because I'm not raising the kid for you. Those are the consequences you deal with if you get a young woman pregnant.
That's fine. The conversation I had with my father was way different. My father was trying to get me to get some girls pregnant, which was crazy. He's like, I want a grandbaby. I'll take care of it. Just had a baby. I'm like, no, Pops, I ain't trying to do that.
Now to me, I don't want to. That is not what I would consider good male parenting.
Agreed. I was like, nah, I ain't trying to do that. You know what I mean? So, but I'm just saying there are differences out there. People have their own, like, okay, I want to go out there and have a kid. I want to have a kid. You have women and men. There are people out there, like this great kid, go out there, they slip up, they have a baby, and they take care of the child anyway. I'm like you. I'm not doing that. Man, you out of school, whatever. You taking care of this kid. I told my daughter's almost 14. You have a baby. You taking care of the baby. I'm not. You have a baby. You go live with your mom. Because I'm not taking care of your baby.
That's kind of harsh. But I definitely would be like, you're gonna take care of this kid. You're not gonna be out kicking it. You will go to work. You will sit at home. What happened to them classes in school where they used to give the give the
egg.
If the girl and the guy had to be parents, they gave everybody, there was like home ed or something.
Yeah, home economics. They gave you an egg. They gave you an egg. Sometimes, yeah.
Well, I went to the night school, so we had babies.
Yeah, we can afford that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, we can afford that.
But I mean, like everybody in the class, and it wasn't like a boy and a girl got them. No, everybody in class got one. Guys and girls, everybody got a baby. You had to take care of that baby for a week. And brother, that was a rough week.
Yeah, they took that shit out.
If you put it down, it would cry. You know what I mean? You didn't know what it wanted. You had to feed it. I mean, bro, it was.
Man, we had people hunting for your eggs. If they know you had your egg, like it was a cold day, you had your egg inside your coat. They'll be like trying to hug you and crunch your egg.
Yep.
Man, it was hard, bro. Yeah, we ain't had no babies. Y'all had all that money.
What happened to those type of classes? Because everybody thinks that having a baby is fun. No, holding a baby is fun. Visiting a baby is fun. Hell, from what I hear, being a grandparent is fun because you can always give that stuff back.
Right. That's great. Casual Germs in the house. We got Brother Marcus in the house. What's good? True Marine. He's like, what's that growling? A very mean poodle, bro. That's what's
my
growling.
Rottweiler.
A very, very mean poodle.
That's my French Rottweiler.
I'm glad he knows my scent. That is a mean dog, bro. I'm glad he knows my scent, bro. So,
hello.
And salute to you, Brother Marcus, in the house. Just catching up, Brother Doug, and everybody's in the chat. Everybody's saying what's up. What consequences? Government aid. Yeah, Doug has a point. There are no consequences. The government has taken the role of the father in a lot of cases. That's a good point. I've heard that argument being made, and I agree with it. Sister Candace and Brother Doug, some would rather have the government be the baby daddy than the biological father.
I was going to say, in some cases, it might be better.
It might be better, or it's just the fact that they can do it. You know what I mean?
Quietly,
it's an option.
Quietly, as much as I would hate to say this, it might be better for the government to raise some kids and the mom and dad be completely out of it.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's
I'm
scary.
saying, I'm on the extreme,
the
extreme end of that. You know what I mean? You got some people that just should not reproduce.
Yeah, but that part I agree with. I do believe there should be a licensing process. I don't think just any old body can have a baby because they want one. But again, that's extreme as well. People are like, what do you mean? You gonna take my right to reproduce? Like, no, you got to get a license to drive a car. You just can't go get a car. You know what I mean? You should have to go get a license. You know what I mean? Someone said based on your credit score. I thought it was hilarious.
These are extreme views, but
hey, something needs to be done. And like you said, the government's the daddy. Well, the government might maybe need to be the mama. You have to get a child to the dad, let him raise it, and they're gonna talk about stats on that too here, and that's why I want to get to that on this video. So let me do that real quick. Here we go.
But women are giving away their vaginas so readily, so easily that men are like, oh well, I don't have to work for it. Like what the hell?
Women, and then we'll scream men are trash. But we set the standard.
Yeah, you have to leverage sexual access to get commitment.
Yeah,
that's what it is. You need to leverage sexual access to get commitment.
Right.
Just like a man, leverages like his commitment or his resources, whether that's physical protection, emotional security, or financial security, in order to gain access. Like you need to do, or women need to do a better job of leveraging sexual access to get commitment. Because if you're giving it away for free, then why am I going to commit? I can get it for free.
And then you go on a talk show, on a dating show with a guy that's just had sex with you, right, in the morning, talking about, oh yeah, you know what, I want to date a guy. What, you just had a penis inside you, because your vagina is so readily available. Yeah, you have to stand. Seriously, I think women need to understand. You are making your vaginas too readily available, okay? And you cannot now complain that men are trash, because the bottom line is, if you don't set the standard, if you don't set the precedent, because men will die through fire for pussy. I'm telling you, right? They will die through fire for pussy. I'm telling. Ish knows, right?
Dave has a song. Don't die for nyash.
Yeah, but right, exactly. But the thing is, if you make it less ready, because like I said, if Dave Chappelle said, if pussy was a stock, right, it would plummet. It would be plummeting right now because the market has been flooded with it, right? So you have to understand that if you flood the market with something, it no longer becomes precious.
I think it's a bit of laziness.
It no longer becomes precious. I think that's why vaginas.
That's pretty.
Well, it confuses me because I'm like, once again, I keep hearing about all these 304s, and only these top dudes are getting it. You know what I mean? But the market is flooded. I mean, I'm confused. Which is it? They're all hoes.
It's one of those things where well, here's the thing, and I say this all the time, right? My thing is this: it's never in my lifetime, it's never been easier to get sex. I've never been around women so willing to have sex. And that's just my take on it. It's easier today than it was in 1989 and all through the 90s and 2000s. It just seems women are just about that life. You know what I mean? It's the city girls we up. You know what I mean? Like girls trip and all that. It's
that's my
on.
thing. If that's the case, then I'm like, then why
the basement dwellers have no game. They have no game. We're not talking about the top tier dudes. They getting it. That's what they're talking about. That's who's getting the benefits of all this free sex. It's the top tier guys, top 20% guys. Those bottom 80 guys, they ain't really getting it like that, bro.
In that case, the market ain't flooded.
The market is still flooded.
The market ain't getting
the market is still flooded. It's just all going to the top 20%.
That's like the 1%ers saying, man, there's money everywhere.
And it is money everywhere for them. That's a great example. Thank you.
So the market is flooded. That dude is the top 20%.
That dude's a married man that has kids, and he's a committed husband like you. He's just on the podcast talking about his experiences or whatever. That guy is not. But if he wanted it, yes. If he
so easily, why are more of these dudes getting some?
Let's keep it 100. Every time you go out, keep it 100. If you wanted to smash something, could you? Yes or no?
I mean, yeah, it wouldn't.
Thank you.
Yeah,
now,
but that's
the bottom 80 guys can't do that, and that's what they mean by flooded. You're in the top 20. Congratulations, your market is absolutely flooded. Every time you go out, you got women hollering at you. Half the time, you don't even see them. I got to be with you, or Ned got to be with you. They be like, yeah, you know what I mean, her and her and her.
That's because I got a W. You know, I ain't trying to mess that up.
We get that, but it's to your point. You're saying, well, if it's all out there, all the women who are throwing out all this Foxy Brown, they want to give it to the certain aspect of the male population, which is the top tier guys. They all want to give it to the top tier guys, right? So the bottom 80 are suffering. If you're in the bottom 80, you got to work on yourself, work your way into the top 20, and guess what? Bam, you in it. You in the candy store. Shout out to Myron Gaines. You know what I mean? Talks about that candy store analogy all the time. Yeah. You, my friend, are in the candy store. I'm in the candy store, right? The top 20 guys are the top 20% dudes are in the candy store. You know what I mean?
Like and that's why. But I mean, that's why I'm like, I don't get it because like you keep hearing about all these dudes struggling.
But it was just to your point. You're like, well, it's flooded. Where they at? They trying to get you, bro. That's where they at. Whenever you go through the drive-thru, whenever you go to the local grocery store, whenever you go buy some ammo, everywhere you go, you got these chicks you getting hit on constantly. Whenever you go to the restaurant with your wife, I might add, they trying to get on. You in the top 20 for whatever reason. You up there. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I said,
so it doesn't change. Yeah.
Because I'm like, as I said, I'm like these 80% of dudes. I'm like, man, just if it's out
work
there,
your way into the top 20. Work your way into the top 20. You're not going to get the access if you ain't in the top 20. So that's why the red pills are always saying work on yourself. Don't work on yourself to get the chicks, but work on yourself and the women will follow. But when you get there and you shoot up the club and you get a baby, right? They tell you're going to get wrecked. Family court is going to get wrecked. But that's the whole point of this conversation. Shouldn't it be even? That guy should have equal access to his child, period. You know what I mean?
I wonder if it starts out like that. Like it starts out, like I said, starts out with, okay, here we go, 50-50. Let the games begin. Justify your point. And I'm willing to bet that most women with newborn babies go right to that, I have to breastfeed. I'm sure that is you could probably find that online. If you go to court, say this right away.
That's what we should have. That's what we should have done. We should have. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find that checklist. What to say as a female.
Who's the guy here who likes to Google stuff? Tell him to go look that up real quick.
I don't know.
That podcast thing, whatever.
Oh, what we know about JT. I think he's at work though. I think JT's at work
right now.
He might be.
I bet you that's a go-to thing. First thing you say when you go to court is that you got to breastfeed.
Yeah.
That's got to be the first thing. And because I mean, I don't. The judge has to have a jump-off point. See, this is where you got to find a judge to come on. Not come on camera, but just be on the.
Or a retired judge, like a retired someone who's in the business. We might be able to find
once that. They go in there, even retired, they go in there and say something crazy. Then every case will.
Because then they can't be. Then they can't preside over the arbitrations. That's another flex. Yeah, they get off the bench. They get in the arbitration.
Saying the court just showed that precedent don't mean nothing. So they can go back and be like, yo.
Right. So Wonderful 34 is in the house. What's good, fam? Welcome. Thanks for coming through. Speaking of JT, here he is.
Pretty soon humans will be born infertile. Well, a lot of guys are.
Wow.
A lot of guys are like losing. A lot of guys are like losing testosterone and stuff like that. Brother Doug, the situation is coming in the near future with GMO hormones in food. Testosterone levels are declining for men, and it's impacting younger men by the year. And infertility rates are increasing.
I would say that these dudes going to look at these porn sites and spend all their time on porn sites and jerking off 8 times a day is probably doing more damage than a lot of the other stuff.
You're right. You're right. So yeah, I want to finish up the video because I thought this was the video when they were dropping some numbers about single parent households. I could be wrong, but let's just we got it. Let's hear what they have to say about fathers in home.
Why is there a need for it to be precious? Why isn't it like, men have been given their dicks out then?
There's not. There's not a...
But if you want guys to commit to you, then they need to value you.
Your body's precious.
I think my body's precious. Sex is sex. It's something to do because you want to enjoy it. It's not because, oh, hey, this is like, what is this guy going to give me? So I'm going to give him this. It's just so.
Bro, sex is sex.
Yeah,
sex is sex until what? I get pregnant and now I want the money.
No,
all right, I'll keep going.
Go back.
I
don't know about that.
You can create life from sex.
Talk it into your mic a little closer. Yeah.
I prefer like you're not having sex with me. Like as a woman, personally, like you can just go out and be like, I want to have sex, but like if I like, definitely treat me like a princess first. Like, don't just like you can't just enter and leave. Like, I think I don't want that.
You can't just go down to the gas station and have sex with me and I go back to my boyfriend.
But
yes,
like,
we can.
Yes, yeah, some are fine with that, and that's their prerogative. And I don't think you should. You shouldn't control women who want to do that and like make them feel bad about it, because that's, there's a lot of people with kinks out there, men and women involved, who are like into that, but there's a lot of women who are not.
Trying to make them feel bad about it.
All women to be like, you're all slags.
So do you have the same energy for men that don't want to date girls with high body counts? Do you have the same energy, like that's your prerogative, you're allowed to do what you want to do? Yeah. Or because a lot of times what I see is like there'll be things like slaming and like shaming language when men want to have standards.
But it's also like, I don't think if you're a woman who doesn't sleep around a lot, I don't think you would want to date a man who sleeps around a lot. I think you just probably find someone who's on your level of shagging.
Yeah, but a guy who sleeps around a lot is definitely a guy who's provided value to a particular extent, because the vast majority of guys can't do that. This is the apex
women
fallacy.
are attracted to men with sexual experience.
Exactly, like because you deal with the best guys, you think all guys are like that, whereas the reality is that that's a very minute percentage of men.
And it wasn't what I was hoping to find. I'm sorry, guys.
You never and like
that wasn't the clip I was hoping to find. Again, I apologize for not being prepared. But Jswans and I just decided to jump on real quick. Anyway, so that's that. But this same conversation on that same podcast, the brother on the left was bringing up the stats that it was some really harsh numbers referring to single women households about children who are born with all kind of problems, like have problems, become criminals and all this other kind of stuff. And you hear these numbers a lot in the manosphere. I haven't found these numbers. I'm gonna have to go to. Go ahead.
Well, you know what? I can kind of see some of that based on where these kids are and how they're coming up and that sort of thing. And I wonder how many single family households are, let's say, in the suburbs versus in the inner city, those kind of things. And because that impacts it all. Like I said, I didn't grow up I didn't grow up in a single family household. My parents divorced when I was 14 or 15. And so my sisters kind of technically did, but even them, my parents were, they were both still involved. And then there were other people involved as well. Like I always tell people, like I never had a drink until I was in the military, and never did any drugs or anything. And people, they always attribute that to, well, your parents. I'm like, no, I was afraid of my grandmother, what she would do. So that's more of what that was. I didn't want to disappoint her. So but I don't know. I want to see how those stats, they stack up in the inner city versus the suburbs, those kind of things, because that would be interesting. I just feel like, because now you're starting to see more kids with issues in the suburbs because the new drugs of choice now, you know, it's no longer like pot and whatever else. Now it's pills, which, you know, parents and the, you know, people in the suburbs, they have access to pills because they have healthcare and that sort of stuff. So I bet you that plays into a lot of these issues that these kids are coming up with. A lot of the moms, you know, they get divorced, and instead of, you know, I'm having a bad day, this is, you know, it'll get better, they go to taking, you know, a pill, and their kids get a hold of these pills. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, cause y'all can't hear that. Can you hear anything right now, bro, other than me talking?
No, I can't hear nothing.
Okay, cool.
You broke your thing again? You broke it?
No, I'm trying to find the clip where they were making the statements about the.
You're working too hard, man. You're making it awkward. We'll just do another show and you pull it up there.
Okay.
You know,
All
I
right,
mean,
good
but
call.
a lot of stuff they were saying is, once again, you know, the girl with the red hair. You know, I don't know what she was talking about. You know, she was on some other stuff, and the other girls, I mean, it's like they were trying, but these are young women. You know, so I mean, their life experiences, whatever their little circle is, you know what I mean? Like,
right. It's very so that brother was bringing up stats, and he was basically saying, here are the stats, and you know, it shows that they have numbers that comes from, you know, government sources, that women who raise single mother households tend to have less success in raising a productive human. Okay, so
I would totally agree with that,
he stated he had the numbers in. I mean, because he says it so much, it was like committed to memory. He spit the stats out, right? And then saying that, the woman was like, "Well, you still don't need a man in the house. You know what I mean? It's still better.
Okay.
You could be able to raise." And this is her inexperience coming out, because she.
I was getting ready to say that right there is inexperience, you know, and that's somebody that's probably arguing just to argue at that point. You know, the evidence is out there. I mean, look, let's make it as simple as possible. If you got two parents in a household, you know, technically you've got someone always to keep an eye on this kid. All right.
In theory, yes.
In theory, okay. Now you get one parent, the kid's got, you know, at least 50% of the time now they got more time to get in trouble. All right.
At least.
And that's what kids do. All right. I mean, that's what kids do. They go to what's fun. Their animal instincts are in full effect. So, hey, if this is fun, I'm going to do this. Damn the consequences. So, I mean, yeah, that just goes without saying.
Yes.
Okay?
When I take my daughter to her mom's, my daughter's mom works. So when I take my daughter there, I know my daughter's going to be in the house while her mom is at work, even over the weekend or whatever. Now, when my daughter's home, I'm home. I rarely leave her here. Even though my daughter loves to stay home by herself, I rarely do it. Even though when I was my daughter's age, I was watching other kids. Yeah. I was home all day.
But you ain't got eyes on her more. Okay, if there were two of you in the house, you'd have eyes on her more often. That just goes.
There's no getting away from it. It's two. Yeah.
So I think that at that point it becomes an argument just to argue. You know, now the quality of parent is a whole different conversation. Okay.
And yes, and I want to go on record to state that yes, I am not saying that all women are bad mothers, single. I'm not saying that at all. There are some amazing single moms.
Are not bad fathers.
They're not deadbeat dads. They're good dads. So we're not saying that yet. I just want to get out there because I don't want nobody to get mad at me later down the road. You said this is what it is. But I do accept the numbers. Trying to get ahead of it. But I do accept the numbers. If you can come to me with stats from the FBI or CDC or from wherever and say this is what it is in America, I have to accept the numbers. Yeah. I'm not going to say that's bullshit. No, okay, I'll accept those numbers, and it makes sense to me for the reasons we just stated.
Yeah, and I was going to say, yeah, when we disagree, it's never about the numbers. It's about the ideology of stuff. That's when we be disagreeing. You know, once the numbers come in, it's like, okay.
Can't fight it.
Yeah,
math is there math. It is. Someone did the math. You know what I mean? Brother Jason's in the house.
We say, where do they get the math from? That's what gets to be an issue.
Right. If you're coming with me, you say, well, Myron and Fresh and Donovan Sharp said this. I'm not accepting those numbers. You know what I mean? But if you coming to me with, real studies, you know what I mean? Like who is that? The Department of Agriculture. Every 10 years, I think, they put out numbers on how much it costs to raise a child in America. Right. So that's one of the arguments I've had with folks. I'm like, look, we know how much it costs to raise a child in America. Right. Yeah. Even in California, it's somewhere around $360,000 over 18 years.
Now, where I would say that's an average. Okay. So once again, because those numbers fluctuate all the time. Because I would say that I've spent more raising my kids because I've had them in sports. All right. And I don't care how none of y'all say sports are expensive.
Absolutely.
Like $8,000 one summer. I was like, that's
just AAU alone. Like, they forget
right.
about the cleats and the gym shoes and all the other stuff.
Now, mind you, that stuff is not necessary, okay? Because they got local leagues, they got sports in schools, and it's way cheaper. You know, we just, because we had means, we chose to do this. You know, we also got our kids tutors. Once again, tutors ain't required, or you can get free tutors or whatever. You know, we chose to do that because we had the means to do it. We've also had a thing about if our kids had a project, we would, if we were capable, we would take them to go do the project. Like, you know, one of our sons had to do a paper on the Statue of Liberty. So we went to New York because we had those means. So raising our child costs more than raising probably other children. So there's different levels of that. You know what I mean? So, and that's the kind of stuff you got to look at.
And I get that, and but we both will accept the numbers, like you said. Well, that's an average. Yes, that's a baseline, and that's when you go into family court, because we were having a discussion of some of these outrageous child support amounts. You look at like someone like Kanye West. There's a rumor out there that Kanye West is paying $200,000 a month in child support. I don't believe that. I haven't confirmed that, but there are people that pay in excess of $50,000 a month in child support for one child. That should be that doesn't make any sense at all. You know what I mean? Because we know what is
the argument? The child is used to a certain standard of living. The child should not be impacted by the parents' divorce or something like that. And you know, and once again, if you're paying $50,000 a month, you know what, brother? Go ahead and buy this woman a house. All right.
Well, they're in most cases they already got the house. You know what I mean? So
no, I'm talking about they're not married and like the pro athlete shit. I'm like, just go buy the woman a house. All right. Make sure your kid is comfortable. You know what I mean? Does your kid comfortable need $50,000 a month to be comfortable? Hell no. All right. But get your kid a home. You know what I'm saying?
But that goes into what we're talking about with the 50-50 thing. Because here's the thing. If 50-50 custody is the law of the land, you will never get to a child support order at all.
No.
Because you remember, child support is supposed to be the half.
Well, once again,
it's
supposed to benefit the child. It's supposed to, you know, be what's best for the child, though. And that's, it's not half, it's what's best for the child kind of thing.
And see, now let's talk about that. Yeah. Shouldn't it be half? We have this child. We are equally responsible for this child coming into the world. So we should equally be financially responsible for the child's needs, which is half.
You should.
It should be half. But so if it costs $200,000 to raise a child over 18 years, we both should have to pay $100,000.
Also, it's what's best for the child. If you make $1 million, if you make $1 million a month and you sleep with a woman that's making no money, has no job, she's just fine, and you get her pregnant, you know what I mean, and she has no way of supporting that child or herself or whatever. Well, take herself out. She has no way of supporting that child, okay? And she gets 50-50. Now what?
She wherever mom is, the child is. No, I mean, it gets into life. But it gets into life, doesn't it? But doesn't that affect, like, you know what? Here's your first lesson, little Bobby. You know what I mean? Mama broke and dad's a 1%er. Now here's the thing: we're gonna mandate that this father provides?
Here's my thing now.
Or make it the other way around. The woman has money and the guy doesn't.
What kind of man would you be? What kind of father would you be if you're like, well, you know what? She ain't got shit, so you go live in that box or whatever. You go be homeless, and then you come back next week. You know, you'll be in a house.
You only gotta do this until you're 11. Then you tell the judge where you want to live.
That to me is like, there's no way my child is gonna suffer. No way.
Now,
there's no way my child is gonna suffer. You know, I laid down with her. I did that. You know, I guess my penalty is this. All right. Now, does my penalty
that makes you a great man?
But does my penalty have to be $50,000 a month? No, that's ridiculous. Okay. But I will make sure that my child is comfortable and that he has what he needs to grow up. Now, does he need Jordans to grow up? No. Okay. You know, and we need to do that show too about what do parents owe their children. You know what I mean?
I know. I've been pushing that show back, but I want to do it. I want to do the political show tomorrow, and then next week, if you get some time, I want to do that, and we'll put that under Downrange Podcast.
Yeah. But I mean, parent, you know, as a parent, I mean, you owe your child shelter, you know, which I include, you know, food and blah blah blah. You know, you owe your children love, and you know, and you owe them an education.
Can we please save it for the episode? Because we're doing it next week. I just said we're doing it next week, bro.
I don't be listening. but that's what I'm getting at. Like the bottom line is it's ugly. Okay, look, you make a baby with somebody that you don't want to be with, you fucked yourself up. All right, let's just it's ugly.
But we are in agreement. But we are in agreement that legally, you should benefit from the same rights and privileges as the other parent.
It should start at 50-50. Now, okay, once again, you keep legally rights. Okay, like I don't agree with like after the baby's born, dad's like I don't want to be here no more. Well, I guess they can do that. They can give up all their rights. They can. The dad already can give up their rights.
But no, you can sign away your rights, but you still have to pay child support. You just don't get to see the child.
What's the point of signing away your rights?
Exactly.
I wouldn't even.
Whereas a woman,
I want to see my child, but isn't child support and visitation supposed to be separate anyway?
Supposed to be.
Yeah. See, I mean, like, here we go. See, that's the law. Like the law is a mess. We agree on that. Okay. The court system's a mess, and like I said, look, once again, I go back to this. You lay down with somebody and you make a baby and you don't want to be with that person. You don't plan on being, then you fucked up. You know what I mean? Like you get what you get. You go out there and you buy yourself an 88 Ford Taurus. You know what? You get what you got. That's it. What's this?
Now I was just looking at Brother Doug. Like I knew a guy that kept every single receipt from conception to 18 minus college, and that total came up to about $250,000 for his son. And that was 15 years ago.
This dude kept every receipt from conception to 18.
Some people do that, bro. Like some people just they just whatever. It is what it is. But no, I mean, and here's the thing. Yes, children cost a lot of money. So if it was if he spent $250,000 on his child, right, and let's say he paid for everything, it was $250,000, so it should be $125,000 each.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. So whatever it should be 50-50 all the way through. If it costs, we know how much it costs to raise a child in America in most places, right? We know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we also know that it's the top 14%, maybe they got different laws.
Yeah.
For the top 14%. But for everybody else, that bottom, 85, 86%, you live in Cincinnati, Ohio, this is how much you're gonna have to pay over 18 years. We cut that in half. This is how much you owe. So if it's $125,000, you want to make that in one payment, or do you want to make payments? How do you want to do it?
It wouldn't work like that. I mean,
it should though. Like I paid my $125,000. Like, we ain't got to talk about money no more.
I think we start at a base number, give her a credit card,
track everything,
and work from there. You'd be surprised what you get. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't. Like I said, once again, you mess around and you have a baby. Guess what? Guess what happens? Everybody's all the way around.
But even going back to what I was just saying, let's say that, okay, it's $250,000 to raise a child over 18 years. Your half is $125,000. Bet. Here it is. I got $125,000. I just hit the lotto. Bam. Here's my $125,000. Done. I get my visitation and everything else. I've paid my financial commitment. Does that mean that I get to get reimbursed when I go to Disney World or something like that? No, that's just you having fun, a good time, whatever. That's you spending your money.
Okay, that right there makes sense to me. All right, that right there makes sense to me because, like you said, hey, this is what it is. Now, anything extra I want to do, this is on me. You know,
this is on me.
Which, once again, part of being a father is you're gonna do extra. It costs more. You're gonna do extra. All right. You want that kid to play sports, it's gonna cost you more. I mean,
look at JT. I ain't buying her shit. He was talking about with the house and everything. Like JT, I ain't buying her shit. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Okay. You're gonna pay one way or another. Embrace it.
Yeah, Cody is king. There's no reason Kanye should be paying child support at all. Facts. You know what I mean? Like you and your wife are both. But and that should be another thing too. Like again, if you're in the 1%, we ain't even talking about child support. It's all about custody at that point. So, but again, this is stuff that's not been addressed. I would think that anyone, especially a woman who identifies as a feminist, this would be on their agenda.
Yo, hold on. I just thought myself doing something. I ain't buying shit. You know what I mean? But he be out there buying them chicken head drinks though.
Now, not JT. Now he settled down.
That shit. No.
That's another brother that settled down. But I get your point. Point well taken. Point well taken. You know what I mean? Either whatever the chicken head of the month. Like I'm gonna get. Come on, baby. I got you. You know what I mean? Exactly. Or the stripper of the month. Making it rain, baby. Making it rain.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And Cody, like brother Cody is right. People turn this nonsense into a business. They have turned it into a business, and that's the thing. That is right there. That's it. At the end of the day, this is a business. I didn't realize that I forget what the title is for this, but the child support order basically states that every dollar
that the court orders in child support, the federal government reimburses the state. So it's money. And then you look at the judges, and then you look at the attorneys, and then you look at the fees in child support. The child support organization is a privately held company, is a private company in business with the state.
Here's the thing: if you notice, you know what I mean. Okay, here's the question. Here's the $1 million question. If you notice, if you know all this stuff is like this, then why go in there like that? Why not take every precaution as a man not to get somebody pregnant?
Again, on paper, I agree with you 100%. It's perfect plan. But when you're hot and bothered and you have one too many drinks.
What do a man say that dudes would die for some Foxy Brown?
Crawl through the fire. Crawl through the fire for some Foxy Brown.
I know she's a hooker. I know she's a prostitute, and she done seen 4 guys since 2:00 today. But
I'm number 5, and it's going down. Yeah, just like Star Wars, boy. It'd be like Red 5 going in. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Exactly. In theory, yes. But in lieu of that, because it's biology, bro, right? We are hardwired to reproduce. It is what it is, men and women. So like we can't circumvent that. However, because you get that post-nut clarity, like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. After you get that post-nut clarity, that same dude, I'm number 5. I went in there. I shot up the club, and as soon as he bust that nut, what is he thinking?
Houston, we have a problem.
That's what he's thinking. We got a problem. And then you go into court, and he gets wrecked. All I'm saying is the court should be based on equality. Again, if you're a true feminist, if you believe in human rights, this should be a thing. This shouldn't even be a fight. Well, like, you're right. It should be 50-50.
It's funny. I'm just looking at the statement, and I'm like, I just thought, now I know why it can't be 50-50 on like that kind of stuff, because child support is also based on income. That's the other.
It's based on one income. It's based on the income of the non-custodial parent.
I thought it was based on so it's what that parent can pay. So if you're making $100,000 a year, and the court says that, you got to pay $30,000 for child support, right? So if the one parent is like, I can't pay but $200 a month, I don't know, man. I don't know how the court, man. I don't know how that works.
But it's not. Here's the thing. You go into family court, right? When they're trying to determine child support, I like the idea of you make X amount of dollars. You make $50,000 a year. Based on that number, Americans in this region who make what you make spend this much on their child over 18 years. Right? You split that number in half. This is how much you owe in child support. How you want to break it up?
Well, don't they ask both parents what they make?
They do, but the calculations are based on a non-custodial parent.
So why do they ask both parents then?
Try to make it look fair.
See, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I don't know how the court system works.
Me neither. So you gotta, because I brought that up with my attorney all the time. I'm like, well, if the other person makes $80,000, right? The mom makes $80,000. The dad makes $150,000. They're like, it doesn't matter what the mom makes. She can make 80 grand. She can make 30 grand. It doesn't matter. Everything's based on how much he makes. Yeah, she doesn't need the money.
Cause I thought there was like a formula that they had, like they bounce. I don't know. Like I said,
there's a formula. You can find it online. You can go in there. It's a calculator, and basically all they ask for now is just your information. We can go on right now. I can pull up the calculator. We can look at any state in the union and figure out how much child support would be if you made X. Really? Right, and it doesn't matter what the other parent makes. So again, it boils down to custody time. How much, and it asks you how much do you make a month, and how much custody time do you have, and how many kids are there? Hit enter, boom, the numbers come out. It spits the numbers out, and when you do the math, it's like, Jesus, some people might be paying upwards of $400,000 over 18 years. Nowhere in America where you need $800,000 to raise a child, right? Because I was doubling it. If I'm paying half, that means she's paying $400,000, right? Or the other party's paying $400,000. That's $800,000 to raise a child over 18 years. Nah, ain't nobody spending that kind of money.
So when you do that, like, okay, so you have the kid 30% of the time, so you're paying, whatever 70% of child support, right? So does that mean the other parents got to pay the 30%? See, that's why I don't.
Again, I don't. It doesn't make sense. It should be 50-50, especially if you're over a certain financial threshold. Again, it goes back to accountability. If you are a woman and you get to choose, let's forget everything else we talked about. Let's just go. Let's reset to where it is right now.
Yeah.
You're a young woman. You're making $100,000 a year. You meet a guy at the bar. Y'all have sex. You get pregnant. You want to have the baby. You choose to have the baby. You make $100,000 a year, right? That it should be like that was your choice. You're not married, right? There is no expectation that he's going to help pay for the child. We don't even ask him if he wants to be a father. He has no legal standing. He can't even say nothing. You had a child, you raised your child. That's what it should be. It shouldn't be about, well, I want child support. No. You're a grown up. You make $100,000 a year. That's twice what the average American makes. No, you don't get any child support.
So you don't think it should be treated like abortion and have exceptions?
Well, but I think that's where it should start. I honestly think now we're back into the conversation. I think it should be 50-50. If you have your child, because in my example, she didn't have to tell her that. She don't have to tell the dude.
Well,
she doesn't have to tell the dude.
Here's me playing devil's advocate now, right?
All right, here we go.
So she's raped by the dude. No, they go home. She
grape.
Said no. He said,
it's grape.
He's cooking.
There you go.
He stole the yams. All right.
There you go.
She said no. He went and did it anyway. All right. She said take it out. He did it. He went ahead and did it anyway. Right. So does she get an exception for that? Does he get an exception for that?
That's a criminal case. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in criminal court.
That's if she even reports it. And that's
let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in criminal court, because now we're into this believe all women thing.
But once again,
if a felony was committed,
that's what I was getting at, because a lot of these cases don't go to court. You know what I mean? So here's what I'm getting at. It's like there's got to be exceptions to every rule. There's got to be. What? I'm
not disagreeing, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm playing devil's advocate now. I don't know. You see how complicated this is. This is why you need two people with bigger brains to actually sort this out.
I mean, but I hear what you're saying. Should there be exceptions? Absolutely. Like when I say when you go into court, it should be 50-50. What's the exception? If one of the parents opt out, what do you do then? Oh, now we go back to the current system. If one of the parents opt out, okay, you were given the opportunity to be in your child's life to have 50% physical custody. You said no. Now we're going to go to this system. And now you're going to get hit with child support.
I would totally agree with this, because I think it's wrong when, like a guy finds out 5 years later that he had a kid and she finally caught up with him. Now he has to pay, child support for the past 5 years. Okay, I find that to be a problem. What was the one we talked about earlier? The one that I was like, most women would agree with you. Oh, the guy that has been paid child support for 5 or 6 years and then finds out the kid's not his.
You don't get that money back. You don't get that money back. And there's no legal.
And see, I find that to be a problem. Yeah, I find that to be completely wrong. Now, once again, how do you what do you call it? How do you get that money back? Without hurting the child. Here's this. See what I'm saying? Like, it's way too complicated.
I tell you how you get that money back without holding a child. You wait till that child is 18 and then mom is on the hook for all that money.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Okay, then you go. Then you go to prison. Then you go to prison.
Wait, hold on. Now here's why I say good luck with that. So you telling me that I done spent, I don't know, $3,000 a month for the past 5 years, and I found this kid is not mine. Now I gotta wait another 15 years or whatever, another 13 years for the government to stay. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, yeah, I agree, but
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay. Here it is. With our small brains, just you and I trying to figure this out. Once you get the order that states that this woman committed fraud, lied, and got paid all this money, basically stole from you, right? And the government helped her.
She didn't know because she's a hoe.
She committed fraud because it's DNA testing. Like, okay, well, once it was proven that she was incorrect, and the government went with her on this, and they started. The government took the money.
You're saying they knew in the beginning? I'm talking about. She said he was the baby's daddy. And then 5 years later, he does a DNA test or whatever and finds out that it's not his kid.
Okay, so
and she's like, okay, it's not his kid.
And he's been paying child support.
Yeah.
All right. The government takes that child support from him, right? It's under order.
That makes sense. Okay, I see where you're going with that. You saying the government gives it back?
Government gives it back, and guess what? They're gonna get that money out of her, and they can give it back in a couple of forms.
She don't get taxes or whatever. Yeah, I feel you on that. Okay.
Yeah, and I was trying to find a child support calculator, but it keeps coming up with like different states.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and but I'll just hit on one.
I'm reading JJ's thing, and you know what? I think that I looked it up while we were sitting here. What it said was that either someone else adopts a child, and or the mom she waives the child support, which
Tell me real. So
and I know at least one woman that has waived it. You
see,
know, and that's
brother Jason, if you sign away your rights, will you still have to pay child support unless another person adopts that child? For women, no.
I looked that up when I was sitting there. We were talking about it earlier.
For women, no. For men, yes.
Yeah.
And that's a huge disparity. Brother Doug, he was married and paid 100% of the household and wanted to see how much it would cost to raise a child. And that's going back to the $250,000. I think he said it was. And that's why he tracked everything. Not that he was like, it doesn't sound like it was spiteful. He just wanted to know. Like, I don't see how much I'm, you know, and I doubt if he's going to present his son with a bill.
I was going to say, because I'll tell you this, at 250, he got off easy. I can tell you that.
It depends on where he lives. It doesn't sound bad at all. Brother Hayoka's in the house. What's good? What's good? If you use birth control and the understanding is just for sex, then it shouldn't be 50-50, 50%. Let me see, 50-50 a child being born. I don't understand that. See, if you use birth control and the understanding is we're just smashing to be smashing, then it shouldn't be 50-50. And he's probably saying if the woman decides to have a baby, because that encounter created a baby.
He said, she said, and that's, you know, that's
right. Well, let's entertain. Let's say they signed a statement, because that's where it seems to be coming to. Right? You remember that movie, that TV show, when they were like, "I agree to have sex."
Upload. Yeah, that upload. quick! You got protection? Yeah, here you go.
So let's say we live in that world. Yeah. I agree to have no strings attached sex, and she says the same thing. I agree to have no strings attached sex.
Hey, you know what? Have sex. Then that means that, hey, you choose to keep the baby. You know, that's on you.
100%. 100% on you. And I think
if you go in there, you sign a document that says that, you know, no consequences, then there's no consequences. You know, I mean, that's how I look at it.
Right.
I don't know what person would sign that. No, the poodle, not me.
Yes, he is, Naya. I'm glad I tell you this. I'm glad he know my scent. I'll put it to you like that. You know what I mean? He's supposed to be mean. He's there to protect his home. He's doing his job. I ain't mad. He's doing his thing.
Now people moving outside by the door. That's why he's mad.
He's about to get over there. Kylo's doing his job. You should have went with your name, man. You should have went with what was you gonna call him? Black Caesar.
I said Osiris or Black Caesar.
Osiris. Black Caesar.
Satan. Like Satan, come here. You come over growling.
And then Brother Jason is saying $100,000 annual income equates to $115 a week in child support.
Oh, does it?
And I'm trying to find. There was a calculator out there that was really good to cover just about every state.
See, there you go. That makes sense right there. Read that.
What, Sister Candace? Child support should absolutely be itemized and tracked the same way as those WIC coupons that would specify what could be purchased down to the ounce. Yeah, and they should have cards. Yeah, I agree with that. And here's the thing:
put it on a card.
When there's a child support order given, you can't audit the other party. In other words, whoever's receiving the child support, you can't tell them how to spend the money. You can't audit what they're spending the money on. So if they're getting, you know, $1,500 a month and they're going out blowing that money on popping bottles and hookers or whatever, they can do that.
But you should be able to, though. Like I said, that's why the credit card thing. I'm a big advocate. I think the credit card thing would be great because you'd see it. Now, granted, they could go. You know, they could go to, you know, I don't know, go to Walmart and buy, you know, $5,000 worth of stuff and then take it, you know, back the next day and get the cash. And no, because I'll put it back on the card. That much I'll put back. So, I mean, you know, I don't know, man. Like I said,
it's one of those things. Last call for insights in the house. What's good, fam? Depends on the state. Some states are combined income minus any other existing children or court orders. So, and again, the federal government kicks this down to the state, and it's up to the state to come up with how they want to do it. And I do get that. But as Jswans and I are talking, everybody can see and probably agree that it's all jacked up. There seems to be no rhyme or reason. Hey, what's up, mean dog? What's up, mean dog? Kylo, get him. You know what I mean? So Sister Candace, how do you justify an increase in child support when one party begins earning more money, especially if they are not custodial parents? It's so much. Oh yeah. It's so much. Look, I gotta block this bot. We got a bot in here.
Oh, really? What are they saying?
Yeah, girls.
Sit.
So I mean, it's this. But I honestly believe that at some point, I give it 10 years that there's going to be some changes in the child support in the family court system. And I think the most basic common sense change should be 50-50 when you walk in the door, especially since most people aren't married in the first place. It should be 50-50 custody right off rip. And what I think they'll do is they'll figure out a way around the custody thing so they can make one parent or the other pay child support.
But I really believe that's what they're doing now. I think it starts out with the set number, and then they adjust from there. Like I said, it's just so easy to do it. Like I said, I bet, I'm telling you, I'm gonna look at it tonight. I'm gonna look, see what I'm gonna look. Because I bet you there's a website that says if you go to court for child custody, this is what you say to get more.
Oh, we gotta, we gotta find that, and we're gonna circle back to this.
It seems like whenever I hear about child custody stuff, it always ends up being like 70-30. That seems to be kind of where it ends up, and it's easy to get to that. Like I said, because my child needs breast milk. I mean, that's the easy go-to, because that's what's the one thing a man can't do? Can't breastfeed. So child's on breast milk. I'm breastfeeding. Boom, right there.
That's easy.
And we'll revisit it in a year when a child is off of breast milk.
Right. Well, he's 9 years old. He's still on breast milk, and then it's a flex. Now that's when they got to step in and do something. Brother Jason, I believe the main thing they calculate is how many nights the child is spending with the non-custodial parent. Facts, that is true. The more nights you have, the less you pay. That is absolutely true. They do look at night. That's exactly what they look at. And again, it should be 50-50. He's like, we was talking about some other stuff, like that's a criminal case, homie. And we was talking about the grape stuff, which absolutely is a criminal case. And I guess you were playing devil's advocate. Like, we all understand, like, we're just playing devil's advocate. How would that work? You know what I mean? How would you, again, I think the statement as to how do you get the child support back? When you find a case where there was some fraud or someone didn't know, wink, wink, we know they knew, but they didn't know you were the dad. You spent $80,000 in child support for a child that's not yours. Under the current laws, that money's gone. But that person should get that money back. If you want to be hardcore about it, you should get it back with interest. But that ain't gonna happen.
The government never gives interest.
They'll take it.
They ain't giving it though. I know.
So and then Sister Candace, she's talking to Brother Jason. Aren't there circumstances in which one parent will request an increase in child support if the other parent receives a raise
every other year?
And conversely, every other and one might request a reduction in child support. Absolutely, it happens all the time. It's really hard.
Yeah.
It will cost you more money in legal fees to get the change than having to change in the first place. In other words, you'll spend
because they're gonna make the other person with the money pay for it.
Right. So you're losing all that money in legal fees. And there's like, so in other words, you're spending 1,000 to save 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it's ridiculous like that. But I mean, it is what it is. And then you get that. And then the other person comes back, well, you got more money. So I need more help. I need that it should, again, that's why it should be a cap. This is how much it costs to raise the kid. This is the most you're ever going to get out of 18 years unless the person gets into the 1%. Right. So if you're making X and below, it's this. If you're making 50, and then it'd be like from 51,000 to like 80,000, and then like or maybe up to 100,000, like from 100,000 and up, it should be at least 3 categories. And it's like, this is the most you can possibly make. For those people out there who are trying to use this as a power move, you're only going to get $200,000 over 18 years. That's the most you're going to get in y'all price range or like in y'all income.
And anything extra, you want to do or you need to do, because trust me, things will come up. You know what I'm saying? Then that's on you. And that forces the parents to work together. If mom wants little Johnny to play soccer, and you don't want to pay for it all yourself, you got to talk to dad. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Here I am again, that devil's advocate. So if mom or dad pay for something, does the other parent get to go and be involved? You know what I mean? Like, it's petty, but that's how petty people are, though.
That's how petty people are.
I paid for soccer, so no, you can't come. Or even better, soccer practice is one of those soccer practices on my day, so he doesn't because he's not going to soccer practice because.
Now that's what the law says. They'll tell you cannot plan things on the other parent's.
Well, that's not
parental time.
Soccer's 3 days a week. The coach says these are the practice dates. You know what I mean? Like,
but you planned it. You put him inside. So you need to have that conversation with the other parent first. Hey, little Johnny wants to do soccer. Both parents say cool. That means that I'm going to use my parenting time to support this endeavor in soccer.
And that's what I'm getting at. I mean, it forces people to work together. Now you got some people that just not going to do it.
Right. You got people like, nope, I don't want to see your face.
It's what Don. Yeah, it's because you want it, then I'm not going to do it. And that's
exactly. It is what it is, and that is a shame. Yeah. But again, that's why it should be 50-50,
right? There should be caps on child support. Basically, there should be every attempt should be made to remove the financial incentive, because right now, the less time you spend with your child, the more money you pay. So there's an incentive, if you were that type of person, to keep your child away from the other parent just so you can get money. You got to get rid of that.
I believe if there was a set amount and they got this amount regardless, then they'd be like, yeah, take little Johnny. I'll tell you this, raising kids with two parents is hard.
Yep.
I remember going to, leaving one practice and got to run over to the other practice. And this, like I said, I worked shift work, so my wife did a lot of it. And I don't know how she kept up with it. All right. I'm telling you, leaving one game on Saturday at 2:00, you got another game at 3:30 at the next, on the other side of town. I mean,
and you at work moving airplanes, but that gets into relationships and all that kind of stuff. So it sounds like we're in agreement that something needs to change. But you're saying nothing's going to change. You don't think that's going to change with this whole family law thing?
Not while there's so much money being made. No. Like you said, everybody's making money. The state's making money. The lawyers are making money. Mom making money. Everybody's making money on this. So, I mean, there's no incentive for it to change right now. Will it get modified a little bit? Yeah, I'm sure of it. But will you see any major changes? Nah.
So, yeah, there you have it, y'all. We wanted to do this for an hour. We actually went an hour and 40 minutes.
Really?
Yeah. It goes fast, especially when you have a good topic. I think this is a good topic. Yeah. I hope y'all guys enjoyed it, man. So that's where we're gonna leave it. Is America ready for family law reform? Jswan says no.
Too much money, bro.
I say yes, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I can't,
bro. You'll see child, parenting rights and custody, whatever. You'll see all that stuff reformed when you see private prisons go away.
Ooh,
that's when you'll see that. All right, too much money being made, brother. Too much money. Even though and like I said, I say private prisons because they know now that judges have been funneling people to private prisons.
Yeah, they done locked some of them up,
and they still haven't. They ain't changed nothing. So I mean,
they ain't changed the goddamn thing. You know what? We might have to do that. We might have to have that show. So yeah, that's it. That's where we are. Oh, brother, that was great. Sister Candace, great informative show. Brother Doug, it's too much money. He agrees with you. Sister Candace, please like a video on your way out. Yeah, y'all, please like the video. Thanks for rocking with us. I got a show tonight. I'm going to be debating with Brother Tarus, and we're going to be debating the fresh and fit effect. We're going to be talking about the manosphere effect. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? That's tonight at 6 p.m. right here, y'all, Eastern Standard Time. Go ahead.
So let me ask you this, like on that topic. So like, are you going to address it from the night shows? Are you going to try to look at it from? Are you going to try to encompass it all?
Brother Tarus and I don't know each other. We've only met we were on Black Man Unfiltered's platform. It's the only time I ever interacted with the brother. So I don't know him. He doesn't know me. So I think it's going to encompass everything. I'm certain he's going to bring up the night shows, and I'm going to be bringing up the day shows, and I'm going to do my best to address his issues, his concerns, and I'm sure he's going to do the same. So it's going to be a proper debate. So we're going to really get it out there.
Because my stance on that. Them night shows is bullshit, and that's just a place for weirdos to go talk to, to act like they hard, but then go talk to girls behind the scene. That's all the night shows are for. And then I told you how I feel about it. I feel like
look at Brother, it's a bad thing. I've seen decline. So we got that. That's surely going to come up.
Because my stance on that, like if they wanted to do more, they would do more to help these brothers get jobs and that kind of thing. And like I said, we've had this discussion. So but that's going to be interesting. Like I said, because I think some of the day stuff, I watched some of the daytime stuff now, and I've seen where they talk about like workout techniques and investing stuff. That could be helpful. I agree that's helpful, but that nighttime bullshit, man, that's just silliness. Like I said, that's the place for the weirdos to go sit in the closet and talk smack to girls, and then hopefully the girls will talk to them later on Instagram. So,
and if y'all want to hear my response to all that, make sure you tune in tonight at 6 p.m. Make sure y'all tune in tonight at 6 p.m. Y'all want to hear my response to all that. To be me, Brother Tarus. Looks like Brother JT is going to be on the panel. I'm going to send him a link as well. So Brother JT will be in the house. We're going to have a good talk about the fresh and fit effect. And it's not just fresh and fit. It's the whole manosphere. Is going to be talking about Rich Cooper, Andrew and Tristan Tate, Rollo Tomasi, Donovan Sharp, the whole nine.
I'd hope it'd be like the whole thing because, like I said, messing around with you, I've seen some of the stuff that like I said, I got that thing from that dude popped up on my thing now about, you know, the reason men are failing is because, you know, the manosphere teaches that men are trying to make men subservient to women and all this other stuff. And I'm like, bro, they're trying to make you. That's why you on here now looking weird. You know,
if you want to hear my response,
man,
I'll see you
really,
tonight at 6
quietly,
p.m.
I'm gonna hear his response in about 10 minutes when I call him back.
Yeah, that's right. But if y'all want to hear my response, right here, 6 p.m. That's gonna be the DL Saying I Really Want to Know podcast. Right here, 6 p.m. We're gonna have that talk about the Fresh and Fit effect. And thanks y'all for rocking out with me, brother Doug. You know what I mean, brother JT, wonderful 34. Thank you so much, everybody, sister Candace, and everyone else who was here, brother Hayoka. Thank y'all so much. Last call for insight. You know what I mean? The sex bot. Thanks everybody who was in here, brother Jason, sister Naya. Right, sister Naya, brother Cody is king. Thank y'all so much for being here today. This was a good topic. This was fun. It was a last minute thing, but it was a good time. I'll see y'all tonight at 6 p.m. right here. So yeah, I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Y'all be easy. Peace.
All right. Hang up.